All right, back on the Young Turks. Anna and I are here. We got a lot of great stories for you guys. As usual, I'm going to read some tweets here at the top. Chris Allen writes in, can I just congratulate Americans once again for coming up with two great candidates for president? Well done, everyone. Because I did a corruption story about Trump, and I did a corruption story about Hillary Clinton.
Yep.
We're awesome. Okay, by we, I mean America. Smooth says, maddening that the mainstream media, with their millions of dollars, would never run a story like this unless they are complicit. Michelle Galagos again says, Bernie raised $27 per donation. HRC did the same, basically, just with a lot more zeros and political favors. True. And then Brandon Atkins says, just about the British politics and Game of Thrones, just tell us which one's Rhaegar and Lyanna's kid, and we'll support them. Well, actually, I have the answer for you. Jesus, you want to show? Damn. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. So for Jeremy Corbyn, they also unleashed hell on him. I mean, I could have done a whole other segment on that. Everybody, in his own party said they had no confidence in him. His allies backstabbed him, etc. And Jeremy Corbyn basically said, in the words of George Galloway, I don't come as the accused. I come as the accuser. He's like, if you want to remove me from this seat, the only way I go is if you guys have the people vote. If you're not going to have the people, if you want to have the people vote, I'll stand for election tomorrow. If you don't want to have the people vote, I'm going to need you to go ahead and fuck off. Okay, now speaking of trials, Anna and I will not be having a trial by combat, but we will be having a trial by race. After the Philly convention in Philly, DNC obviously, I'm going to emulate Sylvester Stallone, and I'm going to come for you, Anna. So it's a mile-long race. We did it 8 years ago.
Yes.
I was the victor. And I bring it up today because I went for another jog today. Disaster. I'm in such bad shape that I'm like, I'm breathing hard. I'm like, oh, fuck, Jesus, Lord mercy.
Yeah.
Then I almost tripped over the sidewalk. Like my toe got caught in the sidewalk. Hussington. No, I'm fine. Now, in the 8 years since then, before you didn't really run. Before that race, you weren't a runner.
I was a power walker.
You were a power walker. Come on,
Yeah.
power walker going to take me on in a race, right? But now you run.
I run, but I'm an interval runner. I'm not like one of those. I'm not a distance runner, right? So what I like to do is sprint, and then I don't even really count the distance, right? Or measure the distance. I just sprint, or I'll run really fast, not sprinting, but running pretty fast for, I don't know, half a mile, and then I'll stop and walk for like 10 seconds, and then I'll run again.
You should do that during the race.
No, but that's the thing. So you talk about being fucked. I'm fucked, right? Because I've been trying to train on my own, and it's really tough for me to run fast for a mile straight because I've trained my body to stop after a while, right? So my endurance sucks. And I'm just so fucking angry that I agreed to do this. I'm so mad, and like I'm so overwhelmed and stressed out with so many different things going on, and now I got to put this on my plate. And like, please be a member, okay? Like, please just be a member, please. We're doing this for the members. We're doing this to give you guys extra content. I'm gonna embarrass myself. Please just be a member.
Okay.
And we begin Saturday. I've cleared the schedule. Saturday.
Oh, he's going to train you? The legendary J.R. Jackson's going to train you?
We're starting Saturday. I've lagged because I have 18,000 things I'm doing, but Saturday.
Okay, so I want people to understand that the race is going to be live for members, okay? So it's mainly for the members because the members power the show. So tytnetwork.com/join. You have got to see this race. Aaron will live tweet some of it to give you a sense of the drama that's going on, who's winning, who's losing, if there's any pole position changing. Pole position always sounds funny.
It's always fun when pole positions change.
Anyway, but all the members will get to watch it on the dramatic day that it happens. But that's what I was going to bring up. I realized the reason I won that race, the reason I win challenges overall, is because I prepared. Like with the Dinesh D'Souza debate, I prepared. With the Politicon panel you did, you prepared, right? But I don't have enough time to prepare. That's why today, when I was out there jogging, I was like, what have I done? Okay, if I came looking for victory, I might have come to the wrong place. You know, if you guys don't know, J.R. Jackson ran track at USC, so he ain't nothing to fuck with. So he's training you. I got nobody training me. I'm tripping over myself.
Wait, Jank, I've cleared my schedule, and we'll start in about 2 weeks, and we'll figure it out, bro. I mean, it's like baseball, right? It's the same pace, right?
Yeah, not exactly. Okay, for a second there, I thought he was like Oberyn Martell, like, I will be your champion. And I was almost going to tear up. And then, what does he know? He doesn't know anything. Uger versus Casper after the DNC, the main event.
I have to learn to push through extreme physical pain, right? Because I don't like being in pain. And so, like, the second I feel a little bit of pain, I'm like, I'm cool. I'm done with this, right? I have to learn to, like, ignore the fact that I feel like I'm about to pass out and die and just keep going, right? That's what I need to learn. You got to teach me how to do that, JR. Also, if there are any substances that you guys recommend, just let me know.
I don't take substances, but I won't test you. You can take whatever you want.
I'm not going to take substances.
Okay. Man, when we step onto that track, I've been there, sister. And we did it once together, and I ran track miserably when I was in 9th grade. Finished last in every race but one. and every time I step on a track, my heart starts beating. Like, I get that same nervousness that I hated.
Yeah, I hate that nervousness. I don't feel that often, but I felt it the last time we raced. I was super nervous, and I was doing my best to pretend like I wasn't. I have a question, though. When we ran the race against one another, how long did it take you? What was the time when you completed the run?
I don't know.
What was it?
Oh, yeah, you think I'm going to help you with your research? By the way, you can just go on YouTube.
Exactly. Just make it easier on me. Just tell me what it was.
No, I really don't remember. We'll have to look it up.
You got to fuck this guy up.
Uh-oh. That might be me at the end of the race. But usually AK-47 comes like this.
I freaking hope so. But either way, please be a member, please.
So we haven't decided yet whether we're going to have some members attend the race. Because like we're going to do it somewhere near Philly, so we might have some of you guys come too. But like we can't, again, it's you guys power the show. We're doing it for the members, so we might only have members attend. And it's only going to be live for the members, but we'll see. But it'll be a ton of fun. So tytnetwork.com/join. All right, let's do the show. What do you got?
All
for
right.
us?
The Santa Clara judge who sentenced the Stanford University athlete to only 6 months in jail after he was caught raping an unconscious woman behind a dumpster has just presided over another case involving an Hispanic man who was facing similar charges and was convicted of similar charges. So Aaron Persky, unsurprisingly, gave the Hispanic individual a very different sentence from Brock Turner, the Stanford University athlete. So Raul Ramirez, a 32-year-old immigrant from El Salvador who admitted to sexually assaulting his female roommate in a case that has similarities with the Stanford case, will be sentenced to 3 years in state prison under a deal overseen by Judge Aaron Persky. So remember, Brock Turner only got 6 months, not in prison, in jail. There's a huge difference between the two, right? And part of the reason why is because Judge Aaron Persky felt that, hey, you know what? Going to prison would have a severe impact on Brock Turner. And we don't want that. But when it comes to a Hispanic defendant who's been convicted of sexually assaulting someone, who pleaded guilty to sexually assaulting someone, and who does deserve a lengthy sentence, well, he gets that lengthy sentence. He doesn't get the benefit of the doubt.
So on the one hand, I think, well, are we going to judge every rape or sexual assault case in Judge Persky's life and career from here on out?
Yes.
Every time he gives a sentence that's longer than 6 months, are we going to say, oh, there he goes again? Well, it's going to be tough for him to remain a judge if that's the case. You know, it's not up to us to figure that out. But and I don't want all the rape cases in front of him getting light sentences.
No, I don't. I definitely don't. I want fair sentences, right? So I don't want anyone to watch this video and think that I'm advocating for a short sentence for the El Salvadorian guy who sexually assaulted his roommate. I think that everyone should be treated equally. I think Brock Turner's sentence was too light. And here's one of the biggest issues in California that I actually didn't know about until recently. So in California, the minimum required sentence for someone who rapes an unconscious woman is shorter than someone who rapes a conscious woman. So if you are raping a conscious woman, you have to be sentenced to a minimum of 3 years behind bars, right? But if it's an unconscious woman, or unconscious person, I should say, 2 years behind bars. There's this weird double standard.
What is that, the Bill Cosby loophole?
I have no idea, but it's crazy.
What? So is it better if Bill Cosby knocks him out with drugs first, or you find an unconscious person in the street and start raping them? That's, according to California law, is literally better. That's crazy.
It is crazy.
So, look, on the other hand, what we're trying to get people to see is what they apparently don't see. And that's why Brock Turner got the sentence that he did, and the Affluenza team got the sentence that he did. Because when they see a guy from El Salvador, they think, yeah, that's a guy who belongs in prison. Yes, he did a sexual assault. It's not a tough case. 3 years, off you go. Now, when they see a young, fairly affluent, I don't know to what degree he's rich, right? But Stanford student,
it's a little different.
They think, well, no, he's a good kid, and and I often say, like, he looks like my son. I don't know that he looks like Persky's son. That's not what I mean. I don't mean it quite literally. I mean, like, that's a person that I would know. It might be my neighbor's son.
Yeah.
It might be my friend's son. And so that's a guy. I'm like, oh no, he made a mistake. Whereas I see the other guy and I think, that's not a mistake. I can't believe you raped that woman. You belong in prison.
Yeah.
So don't have that different view. So have the same view. You want to be tough on both, fine. You want to be merciful to both, fine. But make sure that justice is actually blind.
Right. And by the way, there's a lot of credibility to what you're saying, and I think it actually goes deeper than that, because I don't think Aaron Persky looks at Brock Turner and thinks, oh, that could be my son. I think he looks at Aaron Persky looks at Brock Turner and thinks, oh, I was that kid once. Not in that he was a rapist once, but Aaron Persky was also an athlete at Stanford University, right? That plays a huge role. I mean, that type of bias, whether it's subconscious or it's something that he's very aware of, exists. It's very clear. And by the way, here the cases were similar, right? But there were some instances where it wasn't so similar. Brock Turner was actually worse, because in the case of Raul Ramirez, he confessed to sexually assaulting his roommate immediately. His roommate alleged that he was penetrating her with his fingers against her will. He didn't penetrate her in any other way, right? He confessed to it right away. He was very apologetic right away, and he did not get a lighter sentence, right? Brock Turner, till this day, completely denies that he raped that woman, right? Did not apologize. In fact, blamed his actions on party culture and alcohol. So, I mean, it's amazing that you have one guy who shows no remorse, okay, and then you have another guy that shows remorse, but the person who shows remorse gets a longer sentence than the person who's obviously more privileged.
And so, for you guys, you might think, like, well, maybe the guy who doesn't confess might be innocent or something. No, but in the justice system, they put a lot of weight on, hey, are you confessing? Are you remorseful? And part of the reason they do that is, have you learned your lesson so you're not going to do it again? You're not a threat anymore. Whereas Brock Turner seems to have not necessarily learned his lesson based on the letters that he wrote that we covered and the other people that he's blaming. The other guy is saying, yeah, I learned my lesson. That was terrible. I'm so sorry. I should have never done that. And they're like, oh, yeah, good job on being remorseful. Off you go, Mr. El Salvadorian. Of course you're going to prison. Who do you think you are? Now, I don't want it to be personal. I don't know anything about Aaron Persky, and I'd be surprised if he wasn't a perfectly pleasant person. It's all we're trying to do is get people to open their eyes to, maybe you have an unconscious bias, maybe you have an implicit bias for someone, and in a way that, like, you get it, like, oh, that could have been me there, but for the grace of God. Oh, I never put myself in the position of the person from El Salvador. It's not that you can't intellectually understand that. Of course you can. But you're not feeling it. That's why the judgments come down, and not just in Percy's court, but all over the country. If a person who's privileged gets all the breaks, a person who's not, I can't relate with you, so I don't empathize with you, you get no breaks. Well, that's the injustice system.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on to some fun stuff. I love this story. I don't know how you guys are going to feel about it, but it's interesting.
Go.
A supermodel by the name of Christina Estrada is suing her ex-husband, a very, very wealthy Saudi man, for a whopping $262 million. Now, they have divorced because of the fact that this wealthy Saudi man has decided to marry a 25-year-old while he's married to Christina Estrada. Now, obviously, in Saudi Arabia, you can do that. You can have multiple wives. It's the moral thing to do.
Yeah,
Christina,
they care a lot about morality.
Yeah.
But now, by the way, in their book, that is permissible. And so they think, yeah, what are you talking about? Of course, that's the most moral thing you can do is marry several different women.
this story is so bananas. Let me give you the details,
right.
okay? So she actually rejected a settlement of $49 million because she's like, nah, that is not enough money to keep up with my fabulous lifestyle, right?
If you become accustomed to a lifestyle where $49 million is not enough, boy, that's a hell of a lifestyle, man. And you, why people wonder why sometimes the uber rich get under our skin. Anyways.
Oh God, it gets worse. Okay, so she's seeking almost $262 million in compensation for her 13-year marriage to Dr. Walid Jufali, a 61-year-old Saudi billionaire. Okay.
Now, to be fair, he is a billionaire, and that's only about $20 million per year.
All right, so here's what she said in court. I am Christina Estrada. I was a top international model. I have lived this life. This is what I'm accustomed to.
That's what I'm going to say from now on. I have lived this life. I've lived it. So, see, that's the thing about the rich that drives me crazy, right? Not all the rich, but the ones who are snobs like this.
I can't deal with it.
Yeah, just because you became accustomed to something doesn't mean that it continues forever. So, for example, I was accustomed to paying my rent until I couldn't. And then who do I go to?
Right.
Right? Do I go to my landlord and be like, you don't understand, this is the life I've lived. So I won't be paying my rent anymore.
No, but just think about how crazy that is, okay? Jenk and I have a relationship, a working relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say for whatever reason I leave, you fire me, whatever, this relationship has ended. What do? Take you to court and say, I've been accustomed to not making enough money, and I would like Jenk Yuger to pay me X amount of dollars as a result of that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just absurd. It's absurd. But you got to get to the details, because the details,
right.
you know, she has to specify why it is that she deserves that amount of money. Why does she need that amount of money, okay? Mm-hmm. So in court, Estrada stated her demands for $73 million for property and $1.3 million a year for clothes.
Well,
okay?
I mean, this is the life she's lived.
Including $43,000 for fur coats. You are a bad, bad person. $146,000 for haute couture dresses and $28,000 for shoes every year.
I don't do that.
Okay.
Actually, on that list, the shoes by the end seems reasonable. After you already spent the $53,000 on fur coats. So this is, by the way, every year.
This is every year. Yes.
Like,
yes, every year. It gets better. I have more details for you. But, like, you look at those numbers, I mean, like, wow, like $146,000 for haute couture. Like, who even has that in their life savings or their retirement account? Like, you are a fucking terrible person.
I don't even know how to pronounce that, let alone spend $146,000 on it, let alone every year. Like, you get the $146,000 of fancy-ass clothes, and then next year's like, well, obviously, I need a new $146,000 worth of shitty clothes nobody else wears. Okay.
By the way, if you're such a great international supermodel, then go out there and do your modeling and make your money.
This is the life you've lived.
This is the life you've lived, right? You're so great and you're so wonderful, then go out there and make some money. By the way, look, she was married to him for 13 years, okay? I don't know the dynamics of their relationship. I don't know what their relationship was like. I'm not making a judgment on that. I think that if they're divorcing, she deserves something, right? I'm not saying you don't deserve anything, but to look at $46 million and like poo-poo at that because it's not enough to keep up with your lavish lifestyle is so out of touch and tone deaf. I can't stand it. Okay, Estrada broke down when she related her and her former husband's daughter telephoning her to say, Mommy, you were going to make me a poor girl.
No, but you have to understand her pain. Imagine if they had to settle for only $49 million. Mommy, what would we ever do? This is the life we've lived. I don't know why they're British all of a sudden.
I don't even believe her daughter said that. I think she's full of shit. Anyway, she said she'd found a home in London's Eaton Square for $73 million that would cost another $8.7 million to decorate as she wished.
I mean, if I can't put $8.7 million of decorations into my $73 million house, why bother having it?
No, it gets worse. It gets worse. Another property costing $8.7 million was dismissed by her because it would have meant Estrada would have to share a floor with her staff.
Oh, I do declare the staff on the same floor. Oh, an outrage. Absolutely not. And this is not the life I've lived.
And a list of other demands, okay? $5.9 million needed for a country home. How many homes do you need, homegirl?
Well, she is a homegirl, so she needs a lot.
$454,000 for staff. $647.
I wonder what kind of staff she means.
All right. $647,000 to pay rent for a yacht for 2 weeks.
See, she doesn't even own the yacht. That's just rent on a yacht for just 2 weeks.
$6,439 to tip the crew. $330,000
I want to be on the crew now,
for a Paris holiday.
Well, of course. I mean, you're going to go to Paris in under $330,000.
What? Are you going to be in Paris for like 15 years? Is that the holiday? $99,000 for the nanny's room.
Which other people called their house.
My God.
Okay. So, look, here's the thing. Anna's right. We don't know about the relationship. I'm not in the business of defending Saudi billionaires.
Right.
I like how the guy's a doctor. I don't know what kind of doctor he is. He may be, but that's not how he made $1 billion. He made $1 billion by being a Saudi.
Yeah.
So they got born with a lot of oil under their ground. So I don't have a lot of sympathy for that. And if you're divorced and you're married to a super rich guy, you get to ask for a lot of money. That's the system all across the world, right or wrong. And historically, I've thought that it's a little bit of a crime. Mm-hmm. But the insanely rich have to have a little bit better tact than to do this publicly. But they don't get it. They live in their own bubble. They think, mummy, right? They really do believe, how this is an outrage. So, how could anyone live on $49 million? Because everyone they know is a billionaire or has hundreds upon hundreds of millions of dollars. And to them, the idea of living on the same floor as their fucking staff?
Yeah.
What an outrage that is. So, then you can't turn around and complain when we say, apparently there's a little bit of extra room to tax the rich.
Yeah, not only that, I want to change or correct the misconception that wealthy people have all earned it and they're all smarter than us. Here's the thing. If I ever in my life came across $49 million, which is what she rejected because it wasn't enough for her, I would be smart enough to invest that money and make that money work for me, right? But she's a fucking dumbass. So she's like, $49 million, but I'm going to use that for 12 Prada bags. And then what am I going to do, right? No, you're an idiot. You're an idiot, okay? So not all wealthy people are these hardworking, intelligent individuals that we need to applaud and treat as if they're God's gift to humanity. A lot of them are just fucking idiots. And this is an example of one of them. So,
I mean, look, there's one running for president who inherited $200 million from his daddy and then squandered a lot of it and then runs around pretending to be a billionaire and very, very successful as he bankrupts companies over and over again. But look, I know this is not a case in the United States. So, but at the same time, they're getting flats in the UK, and it does involve the same kind of ideas in the UK as the US. Oftentimes when you say, hey, look, if we raise the tax on the rich a little bit, we can actually fund opportunities for everybody. The poor, the middle class, give them an education, give them a chance to become rich. But there's this ideology that Anna's referring to. Well, if you're poor, you deserved it. You just didn't work hard enough. But now, you could have been born with, in that family, or you could have been born in a family in a shack or in a one-bedroom apartment in the middle of a giant city. Well, that is not even, right? And I don't need to make the whole world even. No. I just want to give that kid who's born in a shack or an apartment a fair shot. I just want him to have a shot.
It's that simple. It's just opportunity. No one's handing anyone anything. It's just making sure society has the tools necessary to equalize people, when they're born. So they have opportunities to get themselves out of a bad socioeconomic status, right? Or a low socioeconomic status. Like we used to have those opportunities in the United States, and slowly but surely they've been taken away from us. Yeah,
so the next time somebody tells you, no, the rich are the hardest working people and they deserve everything they have, and the poor are bums and they deserve nothing. Remember this case. So sometimes, yes, the rich have earned it and they've worked really hard. And sometimes they married an Arab sheik and think, what will I do if I can't spend $330,000 on my Paris vacation or $679,000 renting a yacht for 2 weeks?
For 2 weeks.
Trust me, there's a little bit more room to tax the rich.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Chris Brown is facing multiple lawsuits, some of which allege that he was physical with people who used to work with him. Now, according to a lawsuit filed last Thursday by Michael Gerges, Brown's former manager, the singer inexplicably turned his drug-fueled rage on the loyal employee, shutting Mike G alone into a room with him and brutally attacking him, punching him 4 times in the face and neck. Now, I want to stop for a second. These are allegations against Chris Brown. We'll see what happens in court because obviously Mike G has to prove that this actually happened. But what doesn't make Chris Brown look good is not only his past with Rihanna, but also the fact that he's facing other accusations by other former employees. So Chris Brown apparently decided to take a uniquely Chris Brown approach, allegedly boasting about the assault and telling employees that he would beat them like he did Mike G. So
not a great defense in court. But Chris Brown is, in a lot of ways, the epitome of the celebrity culture. I can do whatever I want. There's not going to be a damn thing you can do about it. So I beat the hell out of my girlfriend. I mean, you saw her face. And what happened? Nothing happened. I got away with it. JR predicted he'd get away with it, and he was absolutely right. And everybody went back to being my fans, buying my music. I'm still enormously richer. He probably got richer. And so he does all this crazy stuff, and he's on drug-fueled rages, etc. And there's never any consequences.
Right.
So he'll probably look at you and be like, what do you mean? Like, why would I not beat the crap out of my employees? I'm Chris Brown. I'm rich in America. I'm above the law.
That's right. Look, when someone is treated as if they're above the law because of their fame or their wealth, well, then they're going to continue acting as though they're above the law.
It's almost a rational decision.
That's
I mean, it's immoral and terrible, but if you say, okay, you can do whatever you want and there'll never be any consequences, believe me, we'd have a pretty messed up world. And that's the world for a lot of celebrities. That's what they do because they get away with it, and rich people.
So he wasn't only abusive to his former manager. Apparently, he was working with a publicist that he is also facing some issues with, okay? And so this publicist was Nicole Perna. She no longer works with him. Apparently, he had like a new clothing line come out, and a lot of the major magazines had no interest in it. And so Perna had written to him a text message saying, Anna Wintour doesn't want to fuck with you. These editors don't want to fuck with you. The majority of my time is spent on damage control. I'm constantly cleaning shit up and having your back. Well, his response to that was, Nicole, you texting me as if I will give a fuck if you don't work for me or not before ordering Mike G to send this bitch to her termination paperwork. Sorry, that was a mouthful. Okay, so basically he just responds with, oh, well, it's your fault that the major magazines don't want to do coverage of my shitty clothing line. And it's your fault that I have a terrible reputation and people don't want to give me the publicity I want. And so I'm going to tell my manager to send you the termination paperwork. And she talks about how, abusive he was with her while she worked with him. So not only is he making enemies of people within the music industry, he's also making enemies within his own staff, people that worked with him, people who have been loyal with him. And so it might seem as though he's going to finally get some of the consequences that he deserves.
So, look, of course, it's not all rich people. It's not all celebrities. There's some wonderful celebrities. But these guys are infuriating. And so it unfortunately poisons the well for everybody else. Because when you see a guy treat other people like this and his disdain for others, he thinks he's so much better than everybody. Why? Because he's richer than them. He's quote unquote more successful. And celebrities sometimes, look, a lot of celebrities are really great liberals, do wonderful work for people, et cetera, right? But sometimes these celebrities, not only are they have the advantages of wealth, but they have everyone kissing their ass 24/7. Oh, Chris, yo, nobody knows anything. You're the best. You know everything,
Yeah,
Chris.
you're in a bubble.
Yeah. And so they're all empowered to be like little Joffrey Baratheons running around with the rest of us. So we're sick of it. And so who isn't rooting for Chris Brown to, get his comeuppance? I don't know what that is, but I mean, if this, Mike G guy is going after him for severely assaulting him, I hope he gets paid a ton of money.
Yeah, it seems like he has a lot of evidence. And by the way, there was a European tour manager by the name of Nancy Gosh who worked for Chris Brown. And she is completely in agreement with Mike G. In fact, Chris Brown was so difficult toward her that during his irrational and high drug rages, he threatened to do to her what he did to Mike G. So she'd have to prove evidence or show evidence of that. But if there is evidence of that, it makes Mike G's case look pretty good.
Why? I know why people want to hang out with celebrities. Like, oh my God, maybe I'll get famous from him. Or maybe I'll get his money. Maybe I'll get his shine, right? I can't imagine anyone I'd like to less hang out with than fucking Chris Brown.
I know.
What a piece of shit.
Even Suge Knight's suing him.
Oh. When Suge Knight thinks you're immoral, you know you've got issues.
All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, more stories.
Go.
$100 a month, but there are some members that pay a little more. Our executive producers, for instance. My favorite thing about executive producers is that we have quarterly calls with them. I love that I'm getting a little transparency and I'm knowing what you guys like and dislike, ideas on how to improve the show, topics that maybe we haven't heard of yet and you really want us to cover. We have so much respect for you because of the fact that you keep us independent and allow us to be uncensored, unfiltered, without worrying about corporate sponsors breathing down our necks and telling us what we can and can't say. So if you want to be a member, obviously no pressure. You can go ahead and join by going to tytnetwork.com/join. I'm going to ask some uncomfortable questions. The first topic that I said that we would discuss a little more is masturbation.
And then I was swimming in a hazelnut river.
Are you sure you're not doing mushrooms? Oh my God, I can achieve an orgasm by myself.
Fuck that, I am going to talk about it because there should be no shame around. I think a lot about death because I love life.
That openness led to amazing sex.
And I keep saying to everybody, oh, I got to go call my wife. I figured that was a good excuse and people can't say, hey, don't call your wife. I'm going to release bliss.
It's so weird because at that moment I felt bliss and it smelled like lavender.
At the end, you get to go check. Nice job. If you're a member of the Young Turks, you too will rock the world.